Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome to the video. I haven't made one of these videos in a while, but I feel like it needs to be talked about because something's going on in the DBD community and there needs to be some purging because these two people, June and Swarm, are actually very dangerous people in my opinion, and I'll tell you why. And not many people are talking about them, surprisingly, despite what they're doing and saying. And it really does need to be addressed because I feel like these two people will end up doing something really bad in the future if they don't get any kind of punishment or some backlash with their actions. We're going to start with June because that's where it basically started. Some people may think June is the most dangerous one in this group, in this duo, but I disagree. I think Swarm is more dangerous than June, but we'll get to Swarm in a bit. Now, a Twitter user named Violent Lesbo, aka Selly, we're just gonna call her Selly for the rest of the video. She tweeted about June and she said why me and June aren't friends anymore. And in this document, she explains why she's not associated with June anymore. Now, you're probably wondering, people who don't know what the hell's going on, why is she making a doc on this person? Why she's not associated with them? Well, June was her best friend, and they've talked like every day. They played DBD every day. They chat about everything. So basically, it was a big deal to her, and she she don't want people confused on why she's not talking to him anymore because they've made kind of like an image in the DBD community of being like a duo that goes for flashlight saves, flashbang saves, whatever, like you name it. They basically did everything together. So she wants people to realize why she's not associated with him anymore. And the reason is pretty fucked up. It's a long read, but she also made a summary of it, and I'll read it. She says, if you don't want to read the full doc and screenshots provided, I'll summarize. I am not friends with June anymore because he faked being in the hospital for 2 weeks. Now, I'm going to stop myself here and just give out a quick warning. There's going to be some trigger warnings like suicide and like a lot of manipulating and disturbing things. And I am not going to censor myself in this video because I know YouTube doesn't like the topic suicide and shit like that. But I feel like the story needs to be told uncut to get the full context of it and just to show general respect to the person who dealt with this trauma. So if YouTube doesn't like me saying suicide or any other shit like that, then too bad. He faked being in the hospital for 2 weeks, telling me daily that he was dying or has died, and that he got multiple operations. Also faked a suicide by unplugging his machines that were keeping him alive, acted like a nurse texted me after he attempted that he was brain dead and needed a miracle. And when I asked him why he faked it, he told me it was because he wanted to be loved. I was mourning June every day, crying that I'm losing my best friend at any second to his illness. I was being manipulated in many ways. He said that his plan was to kill himself and act like it happened medically. But if that was the case, why would he fake that he was dying daily? Put me through this trauma. For what? He said I drove him to do this because I treated him poorly. Now, I'm not going to get into why he thinks he got treated poorly because this is about the victim's story. This is not about the abuser or why he thinks this and that because there's no reason why you should be doing all of this, by the way. There's absolutely no reason. So I don't really care about why he thinks he got treated poorly. Maybe some words were exchanged. Maybe she called him an asshole, or maybe she thinks that he was being mean at some point. I don't care. There's no excuse why you should be doing this to someone. Period. Now, I will link the tweet and the document in the description below if you want to read the full thing or why you think he got treated poorly or whatever. I personally don't care about why he thinks that. But if you want to read the full thing, it will be in the description below. Now, right off the bat, you get the gist of what kind of person June is. Very manipulative, very abusive, mentally. We can't claim that he's physically abusive, although that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Now, you would ask yourself, why is he doing this to feel loved? Because it's not about feeling loved. Because if you think about it, if you're best friends with somebody, you're already receiving that kind of love. You don't need to fake your death, fake your suicide to feel loved. Because it's more than just that. or rather, it's not even about that. It's about feeling empowered over somebody, knowing that you can just snap your fingers and then you can say whatever you want and get this person to feel worried about you. It's not about feeling loved. It's a euphoric type of feeling in the brain where you have control over somebody, basically. So this is why I say that June is dangerous, because this is not going to be the first time he's going to do this, because a euphoric feeling in the brain, you will want more and more of that feeling, you know? So he's gonna try to lay low, in my opinion. This is my opinion, by the way. He's gonna try to lay low, not do it anymore, but then slowly do it over time without even thinking about it, because his brain wants it. So he wants to feel that euphoric type of feeling where he gets empowered and control over somebody. So he's gonna do it slowly over time. He's not gonna notice it at first, but then when he catches himself, this is where he makes his decision. Do I continue doing this or do I stop? Now you make the judgment on that, because he absolutely knew what he was doing when he was manipulating Selly, and his obvious choice was to keep going and going and going. And then when Selly realized that he was lying, that's when he said, "Okay, I should have backed away because now I'm being caught. It's not because I feel shitty. It's because, oh, she thinks I'm lying, so I need to backtrack and try to think of something like, oh, I was doing this, I was doing that, I was telling the truth." But no, that's when he wanted to backtrack, and that's when it was too late. The road was crossed, the bridge was crossed, he got caught, and then now suddenly he's starting to feel bad and he wants to make a decision like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. So this is why I think that he's going to progressively do it over time again to another person. And you don't know if that other person that he's going to be doing to is already driven to suicide, you know? So what he's doing basically is going to get somebody seriously hurt or even die from it, because Selly is a very strong person to even go through all of that and still try to live a normal life. A lot of people would be permanently damaged, and she's at least trying to live her life. I can't say how her mental state is at this moment. However, I think that she's doing a good job, at least trying to get by. While other people will just keep tweeting about it, they'll keep talking about it, and then eventually it will drive them to suicide. So this is why I think June is a dangerous person. So that's what I have to say with this whole faking suicide shit. But he's also done some other shit to Selly that is very disgusting, and he should not have ally in his profile anywhere, online, offline, whatever. He's not an ally. That's in fake, because he confessed his love to Selly. And if you didn't know by now by her Twitter name, her name is Violent Lesbo, short for lesbian. So she's a lesbian. And in this screenshot, he says, "First love being a lesbian is crazy. I wonder if I could have made you fall for me in person." That right there tells you that he's not an ally off the bat. An ally wouldn't try to change somebody's sexual preference, their life choices. Allies don't do that. Allies support those people who are trying to make those choices in life, or who's already settled with those choices in life, rather. Why am I talking about this? Because it's important. When he puts ally in his profiles, he gives a certain trust in those LGBTQ people, which means when those people trust him, it's a higher chance that he can get closer to those people, to get to their brain, so he can control it, damage it, bend it as he will. It's a trust mechanic. And a lot of narcissistic people and people who love to control and manipulate, they thrive on trust. That's their weapon of choice. Some people choose a gun, some people choose a knife. Narcissistic people, they choose the word trust. So putting ally in your profiles will syndicate trust. So that means that when he has that, there's a higher chance that he can get all kinds of different people with every sexuality a chance to get to know him, and then he can do what he did to Selly. So first things first, he obviously needs some kind of mental help. He needs heavy treatment, heavy therapy, whatever it is that he has. He needs to get it treated as soon as possible. I don't think he should be streaming. I don't think he should be near a community. I don't even think that he should be in contact with anybody online until he knows that he has his mental state checked. Because, like I said, his brain might want that euphoric feeling again, where he wants to get close with somebody and then progressively destroy their mental over time. The best way to deal with that is to not give him that opportunity. So I think him keep streaming on Twitch. By the way, I don't think he should even be a Twitch partner or a Twitch affiliate or a Twitch streamer in general. I think he should be banned from Twitch from what he's doing, because he has a relatively big community, and then newer people, like new Twitch users, will find his channel, and that's more uh that's more how can I say it? It's more of a chance of him doing what he's doing with fresh blood that don't know the story. So him actively streaming on Twitch right now is very dangerous, because newer people can find his channel and they don't know what's going on with him. Because from what I've seen, he's heavily censoring and banning people who even mentions that tweet that Selly posted. So new people, they don't know what's going on. So he has an opportunity to do this to someone new in his community, because obviously he can't do it to someone who's already seen the shit in his community. And well, probably he can probably, but the person has to be very oblivious, and they have to be very um, gullible. So, which I hopefully that's not the case, but it's a higher chance that he can do this to somebody who's new to his channel. And of course, being a partner on Twitch, you're gonna get new people, because you're like, oh, this person's partnered on Twitch. They might have a good channel. Let me check it out, and then that can lead to like a whole hell for that person. So I don't think he should have a platform due to that reason, because he could potentially fall back to his ways. And I don't think streaming on Twitch is going to help you get over what you're dealing with mentally, because that's kind of how it all led to this point, is you streaming on Twitch and you playing DBD and you meeting this person, Selly, and then you doing what you did. So in my opinion, he should just be banned from Twitch entirely. Now let's talk about Swarm. Okay, why do I think Swarm is more dangerous than June after what I said? Now, I don't know much about Swarm as a person during this whole fiasco. However, I know that he's friends with Junebug, and he remains friends with Junebug after everything that has been unfolded, all the manipulating, all the faking death, all the trying to turn a lesbian straight or whatever. He still remains friends with this person. So why is Swarm friends with Junebug? He claims that he knows him for 3 years. That's why he wants to stick by him. It's his bro or whatever. Bullshit. You can know someone for a decade, and if they were caught doing what Junebug was doing, you should cut ties, because that's common sense. You don't support abusers. You don't support manipulative people. You don't support people who can mentally damage another person. That should be something that you cut ties with, regardless of how long you knew them. So what I think the real reason is because Swarm knows that he's also a bad person. And two bad people can be good friends with each other, because that other bad person will judge the other bad person, if that makes sense. So Swarm doesn't judge he doesn't judge Junebug for his decisions and his actions, because Junebug supports Swarm's decisions and actions. So two bad people can be really good friends. He doesn't want to cut ties with Junebug because he'll be alone and no one will understand. Well, not understand, no one will accept his bullshit as a person, you know? And from what I've seen, what I've gathered, Swarm doesn't suffer the same condition that Junebug suffers from. So he is fully aware of what's going on. Junebug could be saved if he gets heavily medicated help, therapy, whatever it is that he needs to do. Junebug could be saved. He could change. I don't think Swarm could change because I just think he's generally a bad person without any excuses. No mental conditions, none of that. I don't think Swarm suffers from anything of that. If anybody knows Swarm and could correct me on that, that's wonderful. But I'm just saying, based on what I've seen and the whole situation, that I don't think Swarm is suffering from anything that could make him do all of this and just be like, oh, maybe he's just suffering from this and that. No, he's fully aware. He was caught on Twitter saying the N word, hard R, with an A, and he was caught saying the F slur. And from what I've heard from Selly on Twitter, I don't talk to her personally, but I've just seen her tweets, that he's been saying this still in 2023. These screenshots were 2017 and 2018. Okay, for me, I don't care what timeline it is. He was at max 17 when he said this shit. You're a full ass a grown adult. You're fully aware of what you're doing. You're fully aware of those words that you're using. You know the impact it can cause on somebody. This is not the 1800s where you think that shit's acceptable. 2017 and 2023, it doesn't matter. You don't say that shit. Period. So he wrote an apology on Twitter saying that, oh, I'm sorry, I feel sick to my stomach. No. He knows what he's doing, and that's scary in itself, you know? Because he will do anything to save his image as a bad person, but he will express himself fully to the people he thinks he can do that to behind the scenes. So, a person like that is actually more dangerous than Junebug because he's fully aware and he's not going to change. He's not going to change. So, for him to act like he's sorry and apologetic without any known conditions in his mental state, none of that, is pretty fucking scary. And that can lead to a lot of dangerous behaviors in real life, not just online. It can lead to a very dangerous relationship if he gets into one. If he is in one, then I would be worried for that person. It can lead to a lot of shady things. So that's my opinion on the whole Swarm and June situation. I think Swarm should be banned as well from Twitch because, first of all, everything he said on Twitter, the N word, the F word, that's bannable offense on Twitch in itself. I don't care if you got caught saying it on a different platform. A person who says stuff like that and then streams on a platform should not be allowed to stream on that platform. But that's not the main reason why I think he should be banned. I think he should be banned because he's fully capable of doing something what Junebug did, but even worse, with a full mindset of no history of being mentally challenged, mentally have a mental condition, none of that. And he has a large community. I think bigger than Junebug, I believe. He has a large community, and he doesn't need those people feeding off of his narcissistic ego, because he thinks he's invincible right now. From what I'm gathering from Twitter, he thinks he's invincible, and he needs serious backlash to understand that he's not invincible, and that he needs to pay for what he's doing. So that's why I think Swarm should be banned. Okay, to wrap up this video, I think these two are extremely dangerous to the community. It's not about cancellation or the celebrity you hated all along is now being caught doing whatever, whatever, whatever. None of that bullshit memes. This is actually a serious issue because I feel like these two can do serious harm to community members. I think they should be purged from the community because this hasn't been talked about, surprisingly, while other things have been talked about and made videos upon. And people can do what they want. I disagree with them doing that. I think they should focus more on the dangerous subject of these two because they can actually cause someone's death if if they continue to do this shit without any backlash, any sort of punishment. Is going to lead to someone's death, and they're not going to learn until that happens. And even if that happens, they probably still going to do it again. So I feel like this video needs to be made to bring awareness to people who might run across them on Twitter or Twitch that they are dangerous people and you should not be close to them and you should avoid them as much as possible.